This is the sign-up sheet for the support group. And it is now completely filled. I'm sorry if you've been threatened. We would have to actually rent a hall. Which, oh, I'm sorry, is this yours? I found it for you. Yes. Okay, moving right along. Lou and Myrna arranged to have a news program broadcast live from our temple tonight. So please welcome Myrna Binder.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for coming tonight to witness the taping of my show, Jews in the News. We have a very exciting guest for you here tonight. This is a man that, well, I'm sure you all heard several years ago, it was discovered a man was 2,000 years old. Well, that's old news now, because a startling discovery has been made. A man was found frozen in a glacier in some kind of a building wearing a skull cap. It was determined that this man is over 5,000 years old. Through the advances of medicine, I'm happy to say that he was actually brought back to life, and he's here with us tonight because of your rabbi, Rabbi Gluck, and his many contacts. He's having his first interview with me here tonight. Please, would you welcome the 5,000-year-old man. The 5,000-year-old man, has anybody seen him?
Listen, I got a cab waiting outside. You got a treasurer? Would you take care of the cab? I was at the Days Inn down the block on 206.
No, sir, we'll take
You didn't expect me to walk there.
No, we have
I think that's good.
I have so many questions that I have for you tonight, but before I get started, the one thing that occurs to me is, what was the first word that you uttered when you opened your eyes?
Is there a men's room here? I was sitting there and I got a bad prostate. It was tough. Took a couple Tylenol for the headache.
You don't look 5,000 years old.
You know, they tell me I don't look a day over 4,000. I kept myself nice, I moisturize.
Very nice. Now, I understand that they found you in a glacier. Do you know what brought that glacier down on you?
What brought the glacier down was the Epstein bar mitzvah. Yeah, well, they hired a DJ that made such a tumult. He came in with speakers and dances, 200 teenagers jumping up and you don't do this at the base of a glacier. You keep jumping around like that, oh boy, here comes the glacier.
Words to live by. So that was a temple that they found you in, sir, because you didn't mention about mitzvah.
As far as I remember, I think we were the first temple. It was called Temple 1.
5,000 years ago, was it different from the Hebrew we speak today? Because we have a lot of people here that do know Hebrew, so maybe they can determine.
I don't know what you're speaking today, but in my day, we spoke ancient Hebrew. I was fluent in ancient Hebrew. My wife would talk to me every day in ancient Hebrew.
Could you just give us an example?
She would, let me just give you an example. Okay, I'll give you an example. In ancient Hebrew. Is that what you're wearing to shul on the holiday? You're not walking out. Would you please put down the toilet seat once in a while? Would you never take out the garbage? What? English? Oh my God, it won't be nice. I think I forgot all my ancient Hebrew.
And now, I'd be interested to know if the temple that you belong to had anything in common with the temples that we have today.
Well, I don't know. What do you have today?
Did you have a brotherhood?
Oh, you got it.
A sisterhood?
Absolutely.
committees, clubs.
Oh, if you had a club, you had a committee. We would make a club, we would give somebody who didn't want to volunteer a zest. You had a club member. It worked for volunteers too. It was very effective.
I would like to know one other thing. How did you communicate in ancient times?
If you wanted to communicate, we had a newsletter.
We did?
Yes, if we wanted people in the temple to know, we put it in the newsletter. And the only trouble is you couldn't make changes in our newsletter.
Why? We had it.
Well, it was carved in stone. It was carved in stone. On the tablet, there was a big stone in front of the temple. You carved it in stone. One day, everybody was standing there watching the newsletter. One day, the newsletter fell on Dr. Weinstein. We lost our biggest donor. After that, we tried robocalls. Everybody hated it. They hated robocalls.
Now, tell me, sir, since you were around for 5,000 years, you must
Over
have...
5,000.
Over 5,000 years. You must have met or known people that we've only heard about through the Bible.
I knew people.
You know people?
I knew people.
All right, if I mention some of the names, do you think you could comment on them?
If I knew them, I'll comment.
What about Noah?
Owned a pet shop. What? Hypertension, high blood pressure, too much salt.
Okay, what about Solomon?
Solomon, ooh, very smart. Very high SATs. Wanted one of them to go to med school. Broke the heart. Very smart.
Now tell me, did you know Samson?
He needed Rogaine.
He did.
Wasn't lying.
What about Job?
Job? Very patient, very patient. Job's wife would take him shopping. He would sit there and she would come out of the dressing room 15 times. Job, do I look too fat in this? Do I look too young? Job would sit, he would wait, very patient.
Sir, I just can't believe that you're being historical.
Hey, I'm doing the best I can. That was a Swanson dinner for somebody.
Did you know Abraham?
Abraham Short.
Wait a minute, sir. Do you realize that Abraham is the patriarch of the Jews who lived
That was
all,
good, too.
All you can remember is that he was short?
He came into the shop. I always had to shorten the sleeves. Short.
Can you recall anything about Moses and the parting of the Red Sea?
The first time or the second time? Oh, yeah, the first time 3 people showed up. One guy showed up with a life jacket. It was terrible. He pulled the whole thing off. And at the end, he was pondering. Moses pondered. Light bulb. He said, to get everybody in an event like this, he sent out a newsletter. Hey, everybody, on the other side of the Red Sea, we got a buffet. Everybody. You can choose the buffet, the shop. Same, no, 11 commandments.
11.
11.
What was the 11th commandment?
Well, Moses came up with one on his own. Thou shalt not buy retail.
No. I don't believe that.
I don't know. Believe what you want.
Now listen, I'm going to ask you, this is probably the most important question that I can ask you. Sir, did you know Jesus?
Oh, he spoke in our temple.
Jesus spoke with you.
Absolutely. He came with his parents. They sat down in front. They were so proud. But it was a big mistake.
Big mistake. But
big mistake.
Jesus only spoke of love, of
True.
beauty,
Yeah.
of healing.
Right.
How could that be a
It
mistake?
was a big mistake.
What?
When he came to the temple and he spoke, we lost a lot of members. He was a big hit. I know. After that, they started this whole new thing, you know? And at their men's club breakfast, they had bacon. And at the moment, they had shrimp. Some people were very important to them.
Well, there must have been many concerns that you had those times.
One big concern.
Disease.
That wasn't as big.
Wild animals.
Not as big as the
War, pestilence.
Pestilence, I don't even know what that is. But we had the biggest concern you could think of.
What could that be?
It was a concern that would strike terror. Terror in the hearts of every member of our temple.
And what could that be?
It was called the High Holiday Appeal. People would lock their doors, they would hide under the bed, they wouldn't come out for 3 weeks. They were terrified of the HHN.
Can you tell me, there's something that, something we still don't know today, the origin of circumcision. Do you know anything about this?
The origin of circumcision. This was started by Murray. Yeah, Murray was out of work a lot. He was running out of his benefits, and Murray said, I ain't gonna come up with an idea for a business. So Murray chiseled an ad in the temple paper, and it said, Murray the Moyle, circumcision, 20% off. He still didn't get any buyers.
Well, I would imagine that was a rather hard concept to
This
sell.
was a hard concept to sell. But Murray finally got a customer. Baby Irving. But he wasn't too good at this, Murray. It's a little shaky, But every cloud has a silver lining. Baby Irving, when he grew up, turned out to be the only member of the temple chorus who could hit a high C. And Murray got very good at it. It caught on. Everybody was doing it. Baby Murray went on to be a king.
That's amazing.
It's a wonderful story.
But speaking of profession, can you tell us, you mentioned earlier that shortening sleeves, were you a tailor?
No, I was a furrier. Furrier. We had furriers up and down the block. Bill the furrier, Shlomo the furrier, Fred the furrier. I was the biggest furrier. This is one of my, this is a very big seller. This is the first designer label. I was not only a successful furrier, I was a marketing genius.
A marketing genius?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I came up with something everybody went crazy.
What was that?
It was called a coupon.
Coupon.
I was going to bring you some today, but the expiration date on it. But also, I had another idea. You buy a fur coat for me, I give you 2 more fur coats, I give you a bedspread of that fur, I give you a fur rug, I give you gloves, a scarf.
Sir, we have something very similar today. It's called Joseph A. Bank. You buy 1 suit for you, 2 more, a shirt.
Oh my God, Joseph A. Bank stole from me. I got a lawsuit. I also came up with 1-800 mattress. Don't tell me you got that.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
People, you would be interested in this. There was one group that sat around all day. All day they sat around and they got paid a lot of money. They did nothing. They did not. They sat around every day. They sat around.
What did they call this group?
We call them Congress. Every girl being
Now, I have been asking you so many questions. Is it possible there's something that you would like to ask?
Yeah, listen, I had something in the hotel. Maybe, why, with all your technology and your modern miracles and everything, why would they take an individual Imodium and package it in this little silver thing that you can't get this thing open? Such a mystery to me. Don't buy the generic, you'll never get it. Oh my God. I spent an hour in the room, I couldn't get it open.
Sir, this is ridiculous. As I was saying, you have been a part of the modern world now for a while, and you must have seen so many amazing
things, like Georgetown.
The internet, space travel,
fantastic.
lasers,
oh my God.
Mental adventure.
Absolutely.
Tell me, and I'll take your time, don't answer right away. What is the one thing, since you've been back, that you think is the most amazing advancement?
I don't have to think. I know what it is.
Know what it is?
Yeah, it's Costco.
Costco.
You can walk into Costco with an empty box. You put in a television set. You put in a bag of 100 carrots, 58 rolls of toilet paper. You can cater an entire home at Costco for $12. I can sleep in that store.
Well, sir, I know it's getting late, but please, sir, I have a couple more questions.
Listen, I'm going to go back to the hotel. I have a glass of tea with a spoon Danish. The little soaps they have me, can you take those?
Yes, you can do that.
I'm going to go back.
Just one more question.
Yeah, Judge Judy's on tonight. She's Jewish.
Sir, would you mind just waiting a little?
Anything else, sweetheart?
I'm very embarrassed about this. It seems that we have lost our speaker, and but I hope it won't prevent you from coming back next week when I have a wonderful guest, Dr. Larry Schwartz, who wrote the very controversial new book, Why It's Okay for Jews to Go Swimming After a Heavy Meal.